Now, a few things we did before the break. The first thing we did is we installed MySQL Server, right? We installed MySQL Server, and then we are ready to connect. Usually, we don't, normally we don't need a password to connect installation, but the problem is like in Linux, usually they are very concerned about the security. So, so if you try to connect, once you do this, so let me try to connect my server. So let me here, I have finished the installation. Now, once I have finished the installation, one way to start is you can type MySQL minus u root minus p. MySQL minus u root and minus p, which means the password, right? So you can see that, so this is password protected. So which means without a password, you cannot log into the system. I don't know whether this is same for in your case as well. Can you check and let me know what is your current situation, whether you can just log in with this one? Yes, Ashia, can you tell me like whether you are able to install Python, MySQL?
One, it asks me the password, and same goes here, access denied.
Denied, right? Okay, so this could be like common for everyone if you tried this, assuming that everybody is having the same. So let me show you like how you may, log into the MySQL system. So there are ways that you can actually look for the password for this. So one technique or one method of once you install this is we can look configuration file with some conditions. So when you want to look at the configuration file, so one way to do is we can look, okay, so assuming that you are also having the same issue. So let me clear this. Right? So the place you can actually look is, you can say sudo MySQL so we can actually look at what we have. Okay, not this one. So just let's we'll use cat /etc and MySQL / check this one debian.cl. Okay, you can see two accounts, username and the password, which we can use to log into the system, right? So now what you need to do is, if this is a success, just let me know if this is a success. If you can find out the relevant username and password for your account, you can just go to MySQL again, -u. Okay, now you have to provide the username given here. It says Debian sys main. Did I make some mistakes? MySQL
Sir,
minus.
excuse me.
Yes.
I tried with pseudocode. It works for me.
Okay.
Sudo and MySQL -u root p, and I gave my password. It works.
You need this one?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that might be the, okay. Yeah. It's working for me as well. Okay. Thanks, Nasir, for saving time. So in this particular case, what I wanted to discuss is log into the system. So with that, we can go back to this. But this setting this up is very important. For example, now you can notice that there's no root password, which is not secure. So one thing is there will be a security script that you can run it, which we can do that for providing a username for that, right? Okay, so, but I think this is okay. So now let's do a small exercise. What I'm going to do now we are inside the MySQL server. We'll create two databases, we'll create two users, then we'll provide the users to the selected databases. I will repeat what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create two databases, I'm going to create two users, and then I'll provide grant access to the different databases. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let me start with the first one. That means let's create a database. So I can use the command create. So I can say create database, let's say DB1. Okay, then create database DB2. Okay, we create databases. If you choose show databases, now this command shows us we have a couple of databases. So under that, we created two databases, which we call DB1 and DB2. Right. If you have finished up to this point, just let me know by raising your hands. Then we'll create the two users. So let me start recording as well. Okay, now this should work fine. So flash privilege. Okay. Exit. Sudo -u use 3. Exactly. So yeah, it works fine as well. So the mistake I have made is when I type the password. Right. Now, what I did here is I actually create two users and then create a database. Now I have given all the access to database 1. Remember the command, it says database 1. So let's use DB1. Yes, no issue. Show tables. It's also working. Good. So you can actually work as usual in a server environment. Now let's try to use DB2. See what will happen. Now it says access denied. So remember, this is very helpful that what we did is we created a user, we gave access to separate databases. So you can notice that actually user 3 can access only the DB1, right? Not DB2. So that's exactly what we need. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, just finish up to this point, and if you're done up to this point, so in this part, what we did, simply install the MySQL database server, and under that we created two users, which we gave access to different databases. And we, with a simple example, we noticed that in our case, the one user is for the one user we gave access to only one database. So, for example, as a exercise, you can think of creating a small shell script which you can automate this part. So, ideally, what you could do is you can create a simple shell script where you can create users with some pattern, like in this case we have used user 1, user 2, user 3, and so on. And then you can create 10 databases, let's say DB1 to DB10 with some passwords, right? Okay, so that is a small exercise I want you to work on, given that automating using the bash script, which will be helpful. Okay, so having said that, let's, yeah, so I will put this I will give you a small problem description for you to try. Yes. So the exercise is create 10 users, 10 databases, and you assign set of passwords. Again, you can use a pattern like a simple pattern. And then with that, you automate everything. So simply what you need to do, instead of just typing all these commands separately, you need to put into a, for example, inside the for loop, which ideally should create 10 users, giving access to 10 different databases, right? So I think now, with that said, today we discuss simply users, and then use of Apache server, and then the evening session we discuss use of MySQL server. So with that, you have some understanding about day-to-day access to server handling and simple tasks actually. So there are many things that you can actually learn, but basically now you are comfortable with setting up web server. So the next part, what we need to discuss is different tools we can use for documentation, as well as helping users when there's a problem comes in. So there are different types of users we can use, right? Because we need to support customers, helping them to work Okay, so let me show you some tools which we can use for this. Right. The last part of our program, what we need to discuss, simply we want to discuss about how to support users. Now, user supports comes with various different software. So one software is, we can say, osTicket. So this is, or we can try installing this one. And this is open source support ticketing system, which we can discuss how to set up within this. So the idea of this is, right? Idea of this is supporting users with various, you know, as a tool, we can get their requests, put it in a methodical way, right? So, for example, the osTicket, you can actually download and install, which I can discuss the steps. Since now you are familiar with the Apache web server as well, because we need to install PHP and then setting this up. Let's try to do that like after finishing this part. So what you can do is you can track customer requests. So you can see in the screenshots like what is possible. You can list user details, and then you can get information from different users about their issue, and then also like you can decide what data you need about the users, right? So you can customize basically uh, um, what information you need from the customer, right? And then when you working with the different requests, you can even filter out with this. So that's what we will see it here. You can prioritize what is very important, because some user requests might be we have to make it high priority and so on, right? Okay. So we can assign these tickets, that means the request, to different departments, and then you can handle, so the request could be handled by various different users, right? And then sometimes you can also configure automated reply. So you can see there are a lot of similar functions available, right? Okay, so that's about how you may track when you get issues from your users. So osTicket, for example, could be used for login, tracking, resolving user issues systematically, right? So that's through some tools available. The next one is documentation. Now we discuss various different techniques, the commands. Now let's say you are working as a an administrator, so we need to have to document all these things. There are some tools could be helpful. You can use tools like JIT if you are writing scripts and if you want to maintain uh, different versions. That is one possibility. Then you can use different management tools and documentation tools. Since we discuss about the documentation, you can use things like DocuWiki, right? DocuWiki is like Wikipedia. Likewise, you can have a wiki environment. It's called DocuWiki. So this tool could be used for mainly maintaining documentations. So you can use, once you set up Dr. Wiki, it's like a wiki, and then you can, update accordingly. So very easy to, maintain this. To conclude, what we discuss as the last point is the best practices. One thing is, you always, when you're maintaining a server system, you should keep the system up to date. So we normally say sudo apt updates is commonly we have to do. So every time when you're logged in, you can frequently check for any updates. And then you need to also follow some security practices when you're giving users to work with your servers. You have to have authentication system to see only authorized users are accessing your resources in your server. Last part, always remember, make a regular backup of everything that you create within the user with the server. So backing up and also recovery is another very important topic. Right, now having we did these two tools, let me first try to install osTicket, which I have not done previously. So, but we can, I think, since you are now familiar with installation, we could try together the setting up osTicket. Right. So let's try this. What we want to do is right. Now we have set up database as well, which we can use everything that we have created. So let's let's work on this. So I think everything that we need for osTicket is ready. So okay, so let me try to set up osTicket. So I'm going to come out from this. I'm going to go back to my here. Right. So let me say quit or exit. Okay, it's clear. Right. Now let me go through the steps of making a ticketing system, or the software that we have just discussed is osTicket, how to install them. So I told you, like always, you try to update the system. So always when you start, you can try updating the system, and then right. Nothing much to check. That's what I thought. Okay, anyways, not much. Okay, and then you need to install Apache as well. Right now, I have not set up the Apache, but I think you have already done this Apache setting up, which I'm going to do next, right? So let's sudo install Apache. Right, I'm installing Apache 2 right now. I have not installed in my machine. Right, we have set up the Apache in the system. So let me enable and start the service. So let me put the command. So we first enable it. And then we'll start. Okay, so you can check by visiting localhost, which I'm not going to do for the time being. So that's the next step. We set up the Apache server. Then we need to install PHP and also the other required extensions. So this is actually written. So the command is, let me use sudo apt install lib apache 2 mod php MySQL PHP GD, all these required PHP extensions I'm typing. Then PHP IMAP, PHP XML, PHP. So there are a few others that I want to install. So right now we typed up to XML, then PHP dash MB string space PHP PHP Okay, hopefully everything is okay. Let me copy paste the command in the chat so that you don't have to. Okay, I will type in the chat. So this is basically I shared everything in your chat. So this will set up PHP in the server with the required all the extensions. So now we have set up PHP, and then earlier we have set up MySQL as well.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Could you please share the codes from installing Apache?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will.
Yeah.
I will share that one as well.
Okay.
So what I did is, you have done Apache, right?
Yeah, I have done, but your command is not working for me. That's why I just want to check.
Okay. Yeah.
Previous, yeah.
So let me put some. Okay, for Apache, this is the command I have used for installing. Then I have enabled it and started the Apache service. Then we install the PHP. Right, now that I have finished the installation PHP part, I can restart the Apache service. So I will say restart here, which should be okay now. Then the next one is we need to create some database for the osTicket, and we have to create users, and we have to provide privileges and everything, which pretty much what we have discussed earlier. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to log into MySQL, and I'm going to create a database for this, right? So let me put this. So I'm going to create, first I have login, sudo MySQL -u root -p, and now I'm inside the MySQL database. I will create a database for our osTicket. We say osTicket DB, osTicket DB. We'll create the database. Then let's create a user for that. User, let me say osTicket user at localhost identified by, okay, we need to put a password. So yeah, let me write down this because I might forget this. osTicket user, and then let me say password is EFG123. So EFG123 is the password. So I created a user called osTicket user. So you are familiar with this part as well. Now let's grant all the privileges. Grant all privileges on osTicket db dot asterisk to osTicket user at localhost. So simply we provide the osTicket user to access osTicket DB. So now we need to flush privileges, which means now we update everything and now we can exit. So that's what we did. So simply the commands I will type in the chat. So here is the command that I have used, which simply create a database for our system. Okay, now just to summarize the steps I have used. So we started with setting up the Apache server, then we install PHP, then we set up MySQL database. Now we are ready because it's written using PHP and MySQL. Let's try to set this up, right? But before we set this up, we want to go inside the folder. I hope you remember, usually we will go inside var www.html, and this is what we will have. So I'm going to change my directory. I will say cd/var/www/html. So this is the place where you have the files. I think you have noticed this. For example, cat index. This is what you will normally see when you view using web browser. Unfortunately, in my case, I don't have, I have not set up the desktop. So I have to set up desktop to view in the browser. For the Linux, you have a text browser. You can try this. So let me check whether it's working. What you call it? What was it? There's a browser which we can run in the text. Okay, it's for, okay, so this is the command lynx. Okay, let me just try this. Is it working? Okay, no, it's not. So there's a, yeah, so just search lynx. It's a browser. Actually, it's a text browser which you can use, right? So just to check, right now I have not installed this. So let me quickly install. So I can say sudo install. So with this one, what you could do is instead of having a graphical user interface, you can work on the command line interface where you could try. So for example, in this particular case, we want to just check whether the Apache is working. So simply we can say, in our case, HTTP 127.0.0.1, which is local server, right? I'm just checking. Exactly. So you can see, this is how it shows you. Simply the server is working. So which confirms that our configuration is okay, right? So the commands that we have used, again, I will show you. This is for text browser. So the command is sudo install. And then when you want to use text browse, you can say http://127.0.0.1. That is our local web server. So since I have not installed my desktop, that's what I have used. So this is okay. So far good. The next thing is we need to download and install osTicket. So the download is available. So we need to first get it as a zip file, and then okay, so we have to check first where this osTicket download. So maybe I can go to the place and then see, right? Let me connect to the browser. So I logged into the browser. Now, yes, if you go to GitHub, we have github.com osTicket. Exactly. So this is the place where we can actually get the data. So under this, if you go to osTicket, you can actually download the version. What was the version? If you go this, let me check. Okay, we can have version 1.17. Let me try to read. Okay, PHP version, extensions. Okay, MySQL, everything is done. And okay, Okay, so it gives us some deployment instructions. We can try these, whether this is working. Right, now let me check what is the version we have. Okay, so I think we can get it, this information, the latest version of this. So osTicket, we can go to releases. Let me check, we have. Okay, we can go to. Okay, so this is the version we have, version 1.17.5. Okay, the latest one, October. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we know the versions. We can try to install it. Right. So let me try installing the latest version. This is 1.17.5. So let me go back to my server. So now we are inside the HTML folder, and then let's get the file, right? So the command that I'm trying to use is wget. I don't know whether you have wget. So wget, okay, it's available. So the wget is usually whenever you want to download something, you can use this command. Usually you can provide the link, and then so you can get it the file. So the command for getting the file is sudo wget https. We are getting from the GitHub. OS ticket. I hope this is okay. OS ticket releases download. I will give you the link. Version 1.17.5, right? Let me check. 1.17.5, that was the latest we had. Slash OS ticket v 1.17.5.6. Okay, we are getting. So let me give you the command now. So you go to the web. We say 1.17.5. That is the latest one we need to get. 1.17.5. Right. So I have given you the link for downloading. So it's there now in my folder. Let me just go to the server and see. Okay, let me say ls. Yes, you can see the file there. Right. Now you need to, this is a zip file, compressed file. You need to unzip. Let me check whether I have unzip in my machine. Okay, unzip is not there. So let's sudo it apt install. We will say unzip. Okay, we install the command. Right. So far, good. We didn't have any issues of doing this. So yes, we unzip it. Now let's unzip this one. We can say sudo unzip. We can say osTicket version in the new directory called osTicket. So it will be unzipped into a new folder called osTicket. All the files will be available in the folder we specify. So if you say ls, you can see now there's a folder called osTicket, right? So far, so good. So we'll next move on changing the users. So that right now, if you look at here, so let me check. Let me say ls. I'm going to list files ls minus lh, which is now set it up as root user. If you look at here, it says it's for the root. So let me change the ownership. Sudo chown ownership. We are going to change the ownerships. Minus R. Let me put www data. www data. And then we'll say osTicket. Right now, if you look at now, you can see the folder we have changed the user is to www-data. It's not the root anymore. Then we will say mod minus R 755 osTicket. Okay, now let's change. Okay, so everything is now we have changed it to uh, the way we have required. So let me copy these for you as well. So these are the commands that I have used so far. This is 17.5. Okay. So now this is, we can go to the directory. We can configure it because now we have unzipped everything. And then we can go to setup. So setting up actually will be easier for you if you have graphical user interface. But for the time being, let's try. So configuring the osTicket, now we have to go inside the folder. So I'm going to change the directory, osTicket, then go to uploads, and then go to include. And then here we have a sample configuration file. The sample configuration file is called ost sample configuration. So this is the configuration file that we want to work on. So what we are going to do is, if you can see what is inside. Some of the things that we need to change, right? Configuring the osTicket. So that's what you have. So let's move this. I'm going to change the file, the sample configuration to the configuration file. It says ostconfig.php. Now that we have changed into the configuration file, right? We can now use some web interface to configure our system. So this is the best way to do this. That right now I don't have the installation, the desktop. So I will use links. I will say http://127.0.0.1/ osTicket should osTicket upload and /setup. This is the link to set up the osTicket. So ideally, if everything works fine, it should, come to the installation guide. So you can see, thank you for choosing osTicket, which means now you can came to a system where we actually set up our osTicket installation system, and you can actually set up properly, right? If you see this, which means everything is we have done properly to set up osTicket. Right. So you can see, we can see everything without any issue. We can go back. Right. So those are the basically the steps that we have to make the changes. Right. With that said, I would like to finish up to this point. What we have done today, we did a couple of configurations. We set up the server setup, Apache, and then evening we set up the MySQL. And then finally, we installed the system for handling customer requests, which we call the osTicket. For that, we installed the service, the Apache server, and then secondly, PHP and MySQL. And then we went to the installation file, get down into our folder, and then we, installed in the directory. And then we connect with the web interface for the final configuration. So those are the things that I did it. So with that said,